Alright, so this is going to be another television show review. This one's called Space 1999. Came out from 1975 to 1977. I remember watching it when it first came out. I guess I was in kindergarten. And man, as a 5-year-old kid, I was just mesmerized by this show. It has the wooden acting element from Barbara Bain and even Martin Landau has that wooden acting skill. But just adds to the seriousness of being lost in space, so to speak, and not really having a home, being stranded on the moon. So it makes the show even better, I think. If I was going to say the top 3 science fiction shows, I'd say this one, Doctor Who, and The Prisoner are my top 3 favorites. I can't stand Star Trek or Babylon 5, those kind of television shows. Well, I'll talk about Star Trek a little bit later. This show was the most costliest science fiction production ever up to that point, and it was also the costliest British production ever. I believe they pegged it at £3 million, and that was just the first season, I believe. This one was just plagued with problems from the beginning. First of all, they had unions they produced it in Great Britain, so naturally, Great Britain in the 1970s had unions and stagflation. All those kind of problems were hurting the production of the first season, and I guess they had to change locations, and the union, they got blacklisted by the union. I'm just reading all this stuff on Wikipedia. There's tons of information on there. If you want to check it out on Wikipedia, just Google space : 1999, and usually it's the first entry that pops up on your search. The other problem with this is that they tried to line it up in Great Britain alongside Doctor Who, which was playing on a different channel. I think on Wikipedia they said Terror of the Zygons was playing. I don't know if that was 4 episodes or how long that was, but basically ruined chances for commercial success, at least in Great Britain. Then I guess Martin Landau tried to promote this in the United States without much success. There are some great actors in this. I think season 1 has Christopher Lee in a great role as sort of a libertarian type alien, and Brian Blessed is in a couple of episodes. He was in the one where they're on that frozen planet and they want to become immortal, that kind of thing. Patrick Troughton is also in one of these. He was the second Doctor in Doctor Who. Getting back to Brian Blessed, I think he was also in the first episode of the second series. He played Maya's father, who gets blown up in a volcano or something. That was not one of my favorite episodes, but I was second series is kind of cartoonish compared to the first series. And the second series actually did well in Canada, according to Wikipedia. So I can't say that I like the first series better than the second series. They're just different. I mean, the first series is more metaphysical. There's more dialogue, and the production values are much better. Like I said, they poured something like £3 million into the first series, and so the sets are incredible. I just love how they did the first series, in particular the first two. I know the guy who was in charge of the first two episodes got fired, but man, those are some of the best episodes. I think it's Breakaway in the Black Sun. The special effects director, ironically enough, is Brian Johnson, who worked on 2001: A Space Odyssey, and the first season is very much like 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it sort of has that metaphysical feel, great production sets. It's almost like a ripoff on 2001, thanks to Brian Johnson. And the funny thing is that one of the episodes, Dragon's Domain, I think is what it's called. I can't remember the exact title, but basically it's just the prototype for Alien, and Brian Johnson did later work on Ridley Scott's Alien, also Star Wars Episode 5. So I'm thinking they probably got the idea for Alien from that episode, The Dragon's Domain, because the story is almost identical. So there's that. Second, getting back to the second series, I guess they cut back a lot on the cost because of stagflation, as I mentioned before. Union problems, probably. But like I said, it was a hit in Canada. I don't know why they didn't go forward with the season 3, but I guess they're some other company is ITV Studios America and HD Films. They're working on production of Space 1999. I guess they're going to call it Space 2009, or what was the other name for it? Oh, Moonbase Alpha's Legacy. I guess that's what they're calling it now. So that would be cool. I'm looking forward to that. The reason I'm doing this review now was because I had Space 1999 all 2 seasons on my Netflix queue. I guess 5 years ago, I don't remember, but I forgot to add the bonus disc. So the bonus disc has newly remastered episodes, they're calling it. I guess this was the A&E DVDs, but somebody went ahead and uploaded all the episodes from the first season on YouTube. I don't know how they got away with that, but that was pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to mention, there was some controversy about an article that Isaac Asimov wrote about, on September 28, 1975, in the New York Times. It's called "Is Space 1999 More Phi Than Sci?" I don't know what. I like Isaac Asimov. I enjoyed reading his books as a kid, but I don't know what he's talking about in this article. I mean, if you think about it, all the sci-fi TV shows, movies, they're all faked. I mean, people should be floating around in space. Doesn't matter if they're indoors or outdoors in space. They should still, or even in a spaceship, they should be still floating around. The laws of gravity are different in space, I guess. But you never see that, and people shouldn't be talking to each other. That's impossible out in outer space. You can't really, your voice doesn't really travel. But I guess Isaac Asimov's main beef with Space 1999 was that if there was a nuclear explosion like that, let's see, let me scroll back up. So I guess the genesis of the whole series is that nuclear waste from Earth stored on Moon's far side explodes in a catastrophic accident on September 13, 1999, knocking the Moon out of orbit and sending it and 311 inhabitants of Moon Base Alpha hurling uncontrollably into space. Okay. So Isaac Asimov is saying that it's impossible. That could never happen. The moon would have just exploded into a billion pieces or whatever, if that were the case. And so he's saying it's not scientifically possible, although it does praise the realistic look of space people on the moon floating around, at least outside of Moon Base Alpha, not inside. But so he did put a little caveat in that article. I did read it actually, and what else was I going to say about this? There's a bonus disc that I forgot to put on my queue, and that's why I'm reviewing it now. Because I forgot to put that on my friggin' queue when I got the 16 disc box set on my Netflix queue. I guess that was in 2007. They released the special disc, which I didn't have on my queue at the time. So I added it later, and it does have those three remastered episodes that I talked about. It's got the audio commentary, which I never bothered with. I don't like people speaking over dialogue and music and stuff. I've never been a fan of that, but some people dig that. I have to say, on the bonus disc, it was hard to navigate through the photos. I'm using something called I forget which program I'm using. But anyway, the program won't let me go forward and backwards in the photos. There's also something in there called Message from Moonbase Alpha with an older looking Zienia Merton. And I guess it premiered September 13, 1999, which was when the moon was supposed to explode and go out of its Earth's orbit. But she's my favorite actress in this. She's hotter than hell. There's one episode in the second series where she kind of gets half naked in like a cave woman outfit. Man, she was hot in that one. in her haircut, it looks good too. Even in this message from Moonbase Alpha, she looks great. I mean, I have a crush on her. I wish I could meet her in person if she's still alive. But what else was I gonna say? Well, Catherine Schnell is who plays the girl who plays Maya. Nick Tate plays Alan Carter. Oh, the thing that kind of bothered me a bit was that actors would come and go from series 1 and series 2, and there was no explanation as to their disappearance. Like there's this dude in the first episode, Breakaway, and I think he comes back later in the Christopher Lee episode, but there's so many people on Moonbase Alpha, it's hard to keep track of all of them, and the sets keep changing, and the people keep changing. So that was kind of annoying. I wish they could have. I wish they didn't have all these problems, but then again, it kind of adds to the charm. And the low-budget season 2 is kind of funny to watch, amusing, I should say. I never got to see season 2 until it came on a DVD. So this didn't have much success other than Canada season 2 on television. It did have it did pop up again on those A&E DVDs, which I've been watching of course the last 5 years, and I liked it. I like it just as much as when I was a kid. So yeah, this is a great TV show, and I recommend it highly. I was kind of bummed by the bonus material, though. There really isn't anything new there. It's just remastered episodes, and like I say, navigating through the photo galleries was difficult for me. I don't know why. But that's about it. I forgot what else I was going to say about this. There's so many nuances. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about Star Trek. I dislike Star Trek, especially compared to this, because Star Trek is kind of, I don't know, Gene Roddenberry kind of has this thing about, oh, you have everybody has to be part of this federation, and so it's kind of self-contradictory when you say, well, everybody must comply with Federation rules, but whenever the Starship Enterprise goes on the planet, they're not allowed to interfere with a culture or an alien lifestyle. That doesn't make sense. It seems almost self-contradictory, and I never really understood Gene Roddenberry's philosophy. I guess he's like one of these libertarian socialists, they like to call themselves. They think society should be organized like a country club, and I don't know. It just didn't make sense. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but there's so many contradictory elements in Star Trek. I just didn't like it, and it's so much like Babylon 5 with diplomats and people trying to negotiate and shit like that. I just hate that stuff. It's hella boring. I'd much rather watch Space 1999, Doctor Who, or The Prisoner, like I said. So that's my rant on Star Trek, and I'm going to end this now. This is going over